I started recording this meeting and then sharing my screen. So are you able to see my screen?
If you want me to share my screen, I can share my screen.
Not now, Josna. Uh,
Okay.
for now, today's thing is a purely a
Yes, sir.
theoretical
Okay.
discussion, right? So hopefully we may need to share your systems from tomorrow onwards. I mean, once we start practicing the things, so the practical examples you are going to execute on your boxes, and let's see
Mm-hmm.
how good we will be able to do it.
Sure.
Right. So here is the list of contents for today. As it is the very first beginning class, so we'll try to understand the brief theory about what is Java and what are all its features. Can you please mute? I am hearing some echo back to me. Okay, fine. Right. So we'll try to understand what is Java, what are the Java features, and what are the different editions available as part of Java, and also we'll try to understand JDK versus JRE, and at the end a set of URLs for your theoretical reference to read more about the Java features, to know more about what is Java all about. Alright, so this presentation may run for 25 minutes, 30 minutes like that. Let's see how quickly we'll be able to do it. And if you are getting any doubts in between, so don't hesitate. You can stop me at any point of time. Right? You are free for that. So wherever you are not able to follow me, wherever you feel that my voice is not audible to you, any issues, right? So no issue is a bad issue. So every issue is valid one for me, right? So let's start with what is Java. So we all know that Java is a programming language, and it is not a brand new programming language in the market. It is very old programming language, almost 21 years old programming language is this. In the history of computer science and engineering, several programming languages came into existence, and several programming languages got outdated. And as a replacement of every programming language, there are so many programming languages came into market, and lots of frameworks are also built by using those programming languages. And still some programming languages are there staying as the competitive programming languages for your Java, and some are not. So what is so great about Java? Why it is still evergreen even though it is more than 2 decades old programming language is nothing but the set of features it provides and the set of new features it is coming up with every release, almost for every 1 month, 2 months. So the development of this programming language is not stopped. It is an ongoing process. It keeps continuing. Even today you are going to work with JDK 1.8 point underscore some 96, maybe the sub version of that. By the time our course is going to get end up, you will be getting up, you will be coming up with another new release. So that is what the updates of Java happening, like on daily basis. We can say that yes, the updates are there. Everyday updates are keep coming up in Java programming language. No other programming language in the current market is under progress, an ongoing project, an ongoing programming language. No. So several times several people claim that Java is dead. But no, Java is evergreen and it is going to be there in the market for another 3 decades, I am sure. Why? Because without Java, you will not be able to build any new framework today. Today, we are in the world of smartphones, we are in the world of mobile applications, right? But still Java knowledge is required, Java frameworks are required. Without that, nothing you will be able to build. So Android is the one which is the very hot cake in the market. So Android is just an operating system. So to implement the applications to be executable on that Android, so what is that you need? You need to have the knowledge of Java. You need to have the base of Java. So there are several frameworks available to develop the apps that should get deployed and executable on your Android or iOS, all these things. So all those frameworks are built by using Java programming language. So like that, Java programming language is not only meant for mobile development, not only meant for the smart application development, not only meant for the development of your web applications, not only for the desktop applications, but it is used in household applications. It is used in our satellite environments like science and technology kind of applications. It is used in rocket science. It is used everywhere. It is used in diagnosis. It is there in the healthcare market. It is there in the insurance domain. It is there in the banking domain. So where we can't find a place where Java is not existing. So directly or indirectly, some flavor of Java is existing everywhere in today's application environment of different devices, different appliances, different apps which we are using on day-to-day basis. Right? So such a popular programming language it is. And it is not a special purpose programming language. So that's why you can call it as a general purpose language. You can use it for anything. You can use it for the development of any sort of application by using your Java programming language. And this Java programming language is developed based on C and C++. From C programming, the syntax of C is taken into Java. Syntax means what? The grammar of any programming language is called as syntax. So you wanted to write a program. So why you are all here? Just to understand the syntax. That is what my what do you call? In short, if I want to say, I'm not teaching you Java. I'm just trying to guide you to understand the syntax of Java. Right? So to teach Java, there are several tutorials available. There are several lots of bundles of content is available over web. So you need not to go here and there. You can just directly go there to docs.oracle.com. The entire documentation of Java programming language is there. So what is that we need to do as part of this training? We need to understand the syntax. We need to understand which particular class to be used when. We are not going to develop a new programming language. We are just going to use that particular language basics. I mean, being a language, it is going to provide you some blocks to you. So those particular blocks, you are going to use it to build your own application. That is what as the developers, as the application developers, we are going to be. We are not going to develop any programming language. We are not going to develop any operating system like Android or something else. We are just going to build the apps by consuming the ready-made classes or the predefined set of classes which are available as part of API, means application programming interface of your Java. So we need to understand the syntax, like which class you need to write, how, what is the constructor of it, what is the methods, what are all the methods available under that class. So how can we use them? How can that particular class is going to fulfill my purpose of this implementation. So all those are the things that we need to understand it as part of Java's training, right? You'll be able to design any sort of applications, whether it could be a simple web application, desktop application, mobile application, or enterprise application. Pretty easily you'll be able to implement it. And the acceptance for your Java programming language is pretty wide, pretty wide. And this Java programming language is following the principles of object-oriented programming language, which were actually implemented as part of C++. So those implementations were taken as the base for implementing these object-oriented features in Java as well. So that's why we can say that Java programming language is built based on C and C++. From C, the syntax is taken. From C++, object-oriented features implementation is taken. Right? So what are those features that made it so popular? The very first thing is Java is not at all a tough programming language. It is a pretty simple programming language. Those who worked with C like 20 years ago or 15 years ago, those who worked with C++ like 10 years ago, they know the pains of a developer. They know what is paining as part of C and C++ programming, pointers concept. Might be, you might have gone through that pointers in C written by Yashwant Kanitkar, who is the popular author in India who tried to simplify the concepts of C programming as much as he can, right? But still, even after reading Yashwant Kanitkar's books, after reading a lot of other professors' books, we could not remember anything today with respect to pointers concept, with respect to the memory leakages, all that. So all such tough concepts wherein the developer was really breaking his head to implement something has been addressed by using Java programming language by itself. Means whatever that memory management concepts were there, which earlier the developer was really putting lots of effort to implement those things, are now no more the headache or the job of a developer. So all that is going to be taken care by the programming language itself internally. So here there are no such concepts of pointers, there is no such concept of referencing operations, dereferencing operations, and no concept of header file creation, make file creation, all that. And whatever the C++ syntaxes, C syntaxes are there, they are all pretty much streamlined. They are all arranged as good as possible, as easy as possible, as maintainable as possible. So that once you are using any one particular class, you can use it for certain development, and that development, once you push it into the production environment, and when it comes to the maintenance phase, right, so you can maintain it pretty easily by looking at those lines of code. If somebody is asking to make some new enhancements, you can look at that classes, whatever they are using in that application. You can tweak those classes or you can replace them by using some other simple classes of the latest developments, latest versions of your JDK. So that way maintainability would be pretty easy. Enhancing an application is pretty easy. So all that is possible because of the very rich library of classes and interfaces provided by your Java. So that's what one great and the very bulky feature we can say, which make it so popular even after 21 years of its existence, right? And then Java is known as an object-oriented programming language. We know that any programming language that we are going to work with, any programs we are trying to write, there must be some data values we need to handle. Like for example, if you are trying to write a program to calculate the sum of two numbers, so there must be some provision to handle those two numbers. there must be some provision to handle the result of those two numbers, right? So for those purposes, there must be an appropriate data types available. There must be an appropriate data type for each and every variable with respect to that programming language. Whereas here, Java is providing you the support for all those primitive data types, as well as it is going to focus more on the objects. Objects in the sense software objects. So you can compare these software objects with your real-time objects. So in real time, what is an object is defined with? For example, we are all sitting in front of our laptop, right? So we can say that our laptop is an object. So being an object, what your laptop is providing you, it is carrying certain data. So what data it is carrying? It is carrying some data values in terms of properties, like keyboard is its property, monitor is its property, the power adapter is its property, mouse is its property. So all these are the respective properties or features which are meant to carry the appropriate data with respect to this laptop object, right? And these properties are going to work together to perform certain functionality. Let's say I want to write an instruction. I am going to write it by using keyboard, which will be visible on my monitor. Means the keyboard property and the monitor property are interacting or collaborating with each other to perform certain responsibility of this laptop object, right? So like that, any real-time object, it could be a vehicle or it could be your pet dog or human being. Like say we are all human beings. We all got some properties, like our head is property, our hands are properties, our legs are properties. So each property is meant for performing something. Hand, to write something, to eat something, to throw something, right? To play, whatever. So those are the functionalities of your hand. Head, it has got its own functionality. Leg, it has got its own functionality. So hand and leg need to coordinate with each other when you are walking. When you are running, there must be some coordination. So like that, any real-time object, as you are thinking in terms of properties and the functionalities, the same thought process you can apply while developing any software objects as well, right? So that way you will be able to build the software objects. So every software object is going to be defined with some properties which are basically meant for carrying the data, and that data will be consumed to perform an appropriate functionality. So that's how all those software objects are going to become the basic building blocks of an application that we are going to build by using any such object-oriented programming language. Likewise, our Java is one of the object-oriented programming languages. I cannot say that Java is the only object-oriented programming language, but it is one of the programming languages of object-oriented. There are several other object-oriented programming languages exist in the market. Like before Java came into existence, C++ was there. Then as a competition for your Java, C# came into picture. Then there are several other programming languages available in the market today are supporting these object-oriented features. So with the help of these object-oriented features, you are going to avail a lot of benefits. Basically, whatever the code base that you are going to develop for the development of any web application or any enterprise application, all that, you will be able to organize all those lines of code in a pretty much better possible way, and lots of reusability of features will be able to I mean, once you are writing some lines of code as one component, and that component can be utilized within that application for multiple number of times. So reusability, readability, maintainability, better code organization. So all these are the features that any object-oriented programming language is going to provide. So like that, your Java is one of the powerful object-oriented programming languages. Right? Is it clear so far? Any questions? Don't hesitate to stop me if you have any questions. If you think I am pretty fast, or if you think I am slow, if you think I am not properly audible, right? Any complaints, anything, any feedback is most welcome. Right? If in case if you are hesitating to unmute yourself and then raise your question, you are most welcome to type your question even in the chat window. Right? Please do so. Then the next feature of Java programming language is that any programming language or any program we are going to write by using any language, that program need to get translated into the machine understandable format. Why? Because we all know fundamentally machine understands only zeros and ones, means a binary language. So likewise, if you are writing a C program, that C program need to get translated into binary, and that binary is going to be understood by that particular operating system, and then it shows the results, right? So if you are running on Windows environment, it should be converted into the Windows understandable instructions. If you are running certain program on Linux environment, so your program need to get translated into the Linux understandable instructions. So like that, any Java program that we are going to write it, it should get compiled. So the program that you are going to write, it is called as source program, which will be saved with .java extension, and it should get compiled. So that compiled file will be called as the .class file, or you can also call it as a bytecode of your Java program. And that bytecode, I mean that particular .class file, during the runtime will get interpreted into the machine understandable instructions. So your Java program gets compiled with the help of Java compiler, and you got the bytecode. And that bytecode need to be interpreted into the respective environment wherever you are trying to execute your program. If you are running it on Windows, it should be interpreted into the Windows understandable instructions. Similarly, if it is Linux, with respect to Linux. If it is Unix, with respect to Unix. If it is Ubuntu, with respect to Ubuntu instructions. So like that, Java is supporting both compiler and interpreter. So compiler is to compile the programmer written code or the developer written code into the bytecode, and that bytecode will get translated on the fly, means during the runtime, into the respective machine readable instructions. That job is going to be done by using Java runtime. Right? Your JDK helps you to compile the program, whereas Java runtime is going to help you to run that program. So compilation is not running the program. Compilation is just preparing the bytecode. So you are actually running the bytecode with the help of your Java virtual machine, or you can call it as the Java runtime environment. So by default, all the systems that we are buying from the market, whether it is Windows machine or non-Windows machine, everything is coming up with the Java runtime enabled. Means JRE is already installed on those machines. So we need not to install it exclusively. Maybe it is an older version JRE. It might not be up to date, but Java runtime environment is available on every machine. And whenever you wanted to develop your own lines of code, your own set of programs you wanted to develop, then you need to have the JDK set up on that machine, then you will be able to build some programs, you will be able to develop certain applications, right? So that way this compiler interpreter features of your Java are enabling one more feature called portability or cross-platform applications. Means today we are developing certain application on Windows environment, and this application is going to be deployed in a Linux environment in production server. So without any hurdles, without any troubles, that application is up and running on Windows and on Linux environment of the production server. How it is possible? Because the application that you developed on your Windows machine, you are not deploying the source code. You are going to deploy the bytecode. So you are going to compress all your bytecode in the form of a Java archive file, which you can call it as jar file or web archive file, war file, or EAR file, enterprise archive file. So whatever the compression it is, you will be copying that particular thing, you will be deploying that thing onto the production servers, which may be differing from your development environment. So majority of the time development environment would be Windows environment, and the real-time production environment will be the Linux environment for the features of Linux operating systems, like with respect to security concerns, all that, right? So that way, once we are able to build the application in any platform, that will be executable on any other platform. So this feature is known as the cross-platform nature of Java programming, which is promoting the portability of this programming language. So that's why there was a slogan at Sun Microsystems called write once, run anywhere. You are writing your application only once and you are going to run it anywhere, right? So this beautiful programming language was developed by a team of developers headed by a person called James Gosling, known as father of Java, right? Still today he is there with Oracle guys, right? Because Oracle Corporation has acquired Sun Microsystems, so he is there with Oracle INC now, right? So these are the features. And in addition to these features, it is also promoting the reliability. So how reliable is your Java programming, you can say? Because it is going to check for any errors in your code during the compile time. So if there are any errors, it is not going to allow you to compile your code. If there are any errors that will not caught during the compile time, it is able to catch them during the runtime, and it will be prompting the end users with an appropriate error messages, right? And there is no such concept of pointers and all, but memory management is going to be internally taken care by the programming language itself. So that's why there are very less and impossible possibilities of memory corruptions, right? And for the tracking of all your objects, how they are all consuming the memory in that particular operating system, when your application is up and running on that operating system, there must be a thread which is going to act as a super cop that monitors the usage of all your objects. So if any object is in use, so that object will be allocated an appropriate memory, and any objects that became unused or any objects that became orphan objects, means no more referenced by any variables of your application, so such things need to get moved into the garbage. So for that, there is one super cop who keeps monitoring this consumption of all these objects over a period of time, is known as garbage collector. So that garbage collector is going to take care about the objects usage over a period of time automatically. So all these features of extensive compile time, runtime checking, no pointers concept, memory corruptions are impossible, and garbage collection things All these things are trying to promote the reliability nature of your Java programming language. And as we said, this Java programming language is used not only to develop some simple applications, but when you are developing any web-based applications, which is going to be accessible through the networked environments. So obviously networked environments require more security. So lots of security layers will be implemented by using Java programming language itself. On top of providing the security blanket over your application with the help of external security systems like McAfee, all these things, but Java programming language is itself able to provide the appropriate securities starting from the variable creation, feature creation, property creation, class creation, the entire jar file creation, web archive file creation. So like that, the entire layer by layer access restrictions are in place with the help of this Java programming language. So that's how it is going to promote the security features as well, right? So this is how we'll be able to work with this. Then comes the dynamic nature of your Java programming language. Once you start working with this Java programming, once you start consuming the different classes from the predefined libraries of your JDK, right? And you can directly use them as it is, or you can customize them by adding your own functionality, by providing your own methods, your own variables without affecting the original class and all. You'll be able to bring up that dynamic nature to your Java programming for your own applications and all. So that way you can say that your Java is designed in such a way that which will get adopted pretty easily to any sort of evolving applications. So with the help of your Java's interfaces, you will be able to promote reusability, you will be able to promote the flexibility, you will be able to write the number of methods in an object, right? And all those methods can be consumed at a time, or some of the methods will be consumed by some other classes and all. So all these things will be able to take a look at once we start working with the object oriented features of the Java programming. So that is how it is going to bring up the dynamic nature into your Java. And moreover, Java is considered as a multi-threaded application. So what does it mean by multi-threaded application? For example, we are connecting to Amazon.com. Application is only one, right? So you connected, I connected, and somebody from somewhere else connected. So at a time, at this particular point of time, if there are some n number of users connected to that application, and how that application will be able to identify the users uniquely. Let's say I connected, it is going to identify me, and it will be showing only my shopping cart with my items added into that. It is not going to add somebody else items into my cart. Similarly, if I add something, only my items will get added into my cart. They are not going to add it into somebody else's cart. Because for me there is one thread gets operated, and that thread is active as long as my session is active. Once I am logging out, my thread is going to get nullified. Right? So this way, concurrent access for any application you wanted to provide. So in those cases, you need to have the multi-threaded nature. So when this Java came 20 years ago, developers used to work with the multi-threaded functionality. But nowadays, we no more needed to work with that multi-threaded nature. It became one of the programming language feature itself. So we need not to write any threads. So whatever the new servers that we are going to work with, the latest servers, all of them are by default internally supporting those multi-threaded natures. But still, if you want to test couple of things, for example, I want you to test an application. let's say a real-time scenario. For example, we know that Uber is a cab system, right? Wherein the end user is able to book the cab by entering his source and destination, like from where to where he need to travel, that he is going to do. So when he is going to search for the availability of those cabs, your app is going to look for all the, let's say in my area there are 10 cabs available at this moment. So as long as I am trying to book a cab, it tries to send a signal or a message to all the 10 cabs, and it captures a response back onto the server saying that out of these 10 cabs, 3 cabs are already got booked by somebody else and 4 cabs are heading in a different direction. Only 3 cabs are available at this moment, and then from those 3 cabs again you need to identify which cab is waiting for since for more time. So for him I need to send this booking. So this job is going to be done by taking your booking request, which got spanned into multiple threads, and each thread is verifying the respective status of every cab and is coming back as a response onto the server. And once it is going to register my booking with any one cab, and then it is going to synchronize all those cabs. Yes, that particular threads got consumed and they are all in sync with that. So sync in the sense like it should be showing on my server that yes, so far 3 were booked and now this is the 4th booking. So 4 cabs got booked in that area. So this is how a real-time scenario, if you wanted to test, right? So you cannot test it by sending the cabs onto the road. You need to create the objects assuming that this is cab 1, this is cab 2, cab 3, cab 4, which are scattered there, and that scattering of cab objects you need to create in terms of threads, and you need to send the request for each and every thread and get the response back onto your things. So that is one of the beautiful examples which we recently developed by using multi-threaded implementation for Meru cabs as well as the Uber cabs, right? So that's how that job is going to be done by using your Java programming language. There are several other programming languages that supports this, but Java is providing the respective classes in a pretty much easily understandable and straightforward way of implementation. So that's how such implementation would be pretty easy with your Java programming language. And then built-in model for concurrency. Like as we are saying that there will be data to be synchronized, there should be multiple threads that should span at the language level itself. So all these things are nothing but a kind of model that is built in within your Java programming language, which allows us the concurrency. Concurrency means at a time access, right? And then safety point of view, no pointers, so you need not to worry. There is runtime checking, compile time checking, automatic garbage collection. So all these features will promote the safety features of your Java. And this Java is available in terms of 3 different editions. You can say standard editions and then enterprise edition, micro edition, right? So standard edition is nothing but the baseline of all your libraries along with your Java virtual machine, all that. So this is the one which we are going to initially work as part of our core Java practice, all that. And then the JVM with enterprise edition is something wherein on top of your standard edition few more classes, few more libraries to support the server-side implementation, server-side component development, all that are added. All those things are part of your enterprise edition, you can say. Whereas micro edition is the one which is required for developing the apps to be executable on your mobile phone, smart devices and all. Right? So that's how your Java is classified into three different editions. And you got the difference, JDK versus JRE. JDK means Java Development Kit, which is required to develop the programs of our own, because it is the one which is going to provide you the compiler, all that. Whereas runtime environment is the one which is actually used to run the programs that we develop. Right? And here are a set of URLs which will provide you the Java history and will provide you, yes, majority of the time Java SE is for PCs, means for working with the core Java implementation. Even Java EE is also for PCs. Micro edition is for mobile, correct? Right? So let me share all these. Enterprise, for enterprise applications, like for any sort of servers. So those servers could be executable on your PCs, or they will be there on mainframes, they will be there on supercomputers, wherever. Right? So click these URLs. So these URLs will help you to read much more theory. So the last URL I think I clicked, it is going to show you a PDF. So you can download that PDF into your local machine, which gives you the very brief introduction. Of course, pretty old PDF this is, right? But still valid one. So how it was, Java is, how it is cross-platform. So all those things pictorially he's trying to represent, right? Just download these things and go through that. And Wikipedia describes about the different Java versions. The latest version is JDK 1.8, which we are going to set up tomorrow, which came into 2014, but still we are working on that. So there are several things in plan. Java SE 9 is about to come. Java SE 10 is about to come, right? The complete history is given here. JDK 1.0 came in 1996. Before that, JDK Alpha and Beta came in 1995 itself, right? Then JDK 1.1, what are the new features they added? 1.2, what new features they added? I am there with Java since from JDK 1.4. I got my certification in 2000 itself, 16 years ago. 2001, I believe. With respect to JDK 1.3. 1.4 came in 2002 after I got certified, right? And this J2 SE 5.0 is considered as a very big change, right? Also, which came up with lot of new enhancements. It is considered as a milestone release in the history of JDK programming. So from there onwards, they changed it as Java SE5. Then Java SE5 updates. These are all the different updates. Since from 2004, Java SE5 was pretty popular for the 5 years. Then Java SE6 came in 2006 itself, but updates were simultaneously happen for your Java SE5 as well as 6 as well. Right? These are all the things. These are all the different versions you can see. And so like that, you can go through these URLs and try to understand the theory of it. And if you have any doubts, don't hesitate to revert back to me. Right, so I'll be uploading this PDF for you. I'll be creating a folder, and into that folder I'll be uploading these things so that you can refer them. Alright? Any questions? So tomorrow we'll be trying to do the setup of JDK on one of your boxes where there is no JDK available, because those steps will also get recorded. In that record you can keep it for your reference. Right? After setting up the JDK, we'll also try to set up the Eclipse. Clear?
Clear.
Right. So that's all for now. Okay. Thank you guys.
Are we going to meet the same time, sir?
Yes,
Tomorrow?
yes, yes. For tomorrow also we'll try to make the same time, 9:40. From Monday onwards we'll make it 9 p.m. highest.
Okay, thank you.
Only for tomorrow.
Yeah, got it.
Thank you guys.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. See you tomorrow then.
Mhm.